And now a local mother demands justice. Welcome to WBTV News at 6 o'clock. I'm Paul Cameron.
And I'm Maureen O'Boyle. Good to have you here. That mom says the Union County Sheriff's Office has dropped the ball on investigating claims by her young son that he was sexually assaulted. She turned to WBTV's investigative reporter Nick Oxner with her story and a warning: some of these details you may find disturbing. Nick is live in Union County trying to get some answers. Nick?
Yeah, Maureen, when Leah Boyle's son first told her that he'd been sexually assaulted, she turned to the Union County DSS and then to the Sheriff's Office. DSS investigators substantiated the boy's claims. The Sheriff's Office, though, reached a different conclusion.
How come your mom brought you here today to talk to me?
Because I wanted to talk with my daddy did to me.
You're listening to a counselor talk with a 5-year-old boy about the ways he says his father molested him.
Well, he touched me in the pee-pee all the time. And when on these visits, when I go with him, anytime I go, he always touches my pee-pee and rubs it.
When your son first told you that, what went through your mind?
I was shocked.
Leah Boyle is the boy's mother. She says she first reported her son's claim in 2012 and again in 2014, but neither time has resulted in the man being charged, despite the fact that he's already a registered sex offender, previously convicted of molesting a family member from a previous marriage. How does it make you feel knowing that your son's father has never been prosecuted for the claims that your son has made about what he did to him?
It's very frustrating.
Union County DSS concluded the boy's claims were true.
He actually headbutted my private.
So, who headbutted your private?
Daddy.
But the detective from the sheriff's office said the boy's story was inconsistent. Notes show she reached that conclusion based off one interview with a woman who supervised visitations between the boy and his father. But the case file shows the detective never interviewed the boy's father because the man's lawyer objected. Other investigative notes show the detective planned to attend the boy's forensic interview with the counselor, but didn't show. Nor did she interview the boy's mom. In the end, the detective's notes show prosecutors said there wasn't enough evidence to prosecute. Sheriff Eddie Cathy refused our request for an interview. We wanted to ask him how his detective closed a sexual assault investigation into a registered sex offender based on just one interview. But in a statement, Cathy said in part, quote, "We are confident, based upon the evidence we had, that detectives, along with the Union County District Attorney, made the correct decision that insufficient evidence existed to file charges."
What happened when you told Daddy to stop?
I told him to stop, and then he didn't.
What do you think it will take to get justice for your son?
An act of God, honestly. I want justice. I want somebody to hear me and somebody to reach out and know that, you know, there needs to be justice for this child. This man needs to be charged for the crime that he committed. He needs to be punished.
Now this afternoon we received a letter from the father's attorney vehemently denying the charges that have been substantiated by DSS. They say this matter is pending in civil court, not criminal court. That's where the man's attorney tells me these allegations belong. Now reporting live in Union County, Nick Oxner, WBTV, on your side.
Right now, a mother on the run accused of taking her daughter in violation of a court order.
She's talking exclusively to WBTV. The Union County Sheriff's Office put out this picture of Christy Brooks last week. They say she and her daughter haven't been seen in more than a year. But tonight, she's breaking her silence. Brooks spoke with WBTV's investigative reporter Nick Oxner about why she ran and what she's afraid of.
A judge in Union County signed an order last month telling deputies to find Christy Brooks and bring her to jail. Brooks is in violation of a custody order granting full custody of her daughter to the child's father. But the mom tells me she won't let that happen, no matter what it costs. Why did you run?
Because I've taken every legal avenue to protect my daughter, and nobody will help.
Christy Brooks says she knew exactly what she was doing when she took her daughter Autumn and left Union County more than a year ago, in December 2015. She hasn't been seen since, until she sat down in front of our cameras for this interview. We met outside in a nondescript wooded area. shielded from police officers who could spot her and put her in handcuffs.
Some people would say you should have just brought your child back and you wouldn't be under arrest if you just complied with the court's order. What do you say to that?
Well, if I'm going to protect my child at all costs, and I'm the only person that is going to protect her, so I had no other choice.
Brooks says she's protecting her daughter from Autumn's father. A judge awarded the dad full custody of Autumn at the end of 2015 and doubled down on that decision in June, citing in part the fact that the mother had run off with her daughter. But Brooks says the system that produced that order is broken.
They ignore me, they pass the buck, they tell you it's a personnel issue, it's a state issue, it's a county. Everybody says it's somebody else's responsibility.
Brooks provided a copy of this report from a doctor's visit in May 2013, where she reported her suspicions that her daughter may have been sexually abused. The medical records say Brooks reported her then 18-month-old daughter touching herself inappropriately. The doctor's note says Brooks filed a report with the sheriff's office. In a statement, Union County Sheriff Eddie Cathy says his office thoroughly investigated the complaint and found no evidence substantiating sexual abuse. But a write-up of one UCSO investigation obtained by WBTV shows the detective in the case closed the matter after questioning Autumn's father with an SBI agent. No polygraph, no other witnesses, no talk of even looking at medical records. When we tried to ask the sheriff follow-up questions, a spokesman for his office sent an email saying the facts speak for themselves. But the same spokesman then wouldn't answer our questions.
Do you think that you can stay in hiding with your daughter forever?
I don't plan on staying in hiding forever. I plan on someone stepping up and doing their job eventually.
In his statement, Sheriff Cathy also pointed to a DSS investigation into Brooks's claims that her daughter's father sexually harassed her. That investigation found no wrongdoing, but records show that investigation was supervised by Wanda Sue Larson before she was arrested and convicted on child abuse charges of her own. A spokesman for Union County DSS refused multiple questions about whether Brooks's complaints had been reviewed since Larson was arrested. Guys, back to you.
All right, Nick, thank you. So how did we get to this point with Wanda Sue Larson? WBTV's been on your side from the beginning in that case. The 11-year-old boy was found chained to the porch in November 2013. Wanda Larson and Dorian Harper were arrested and suspended by DSS a couple of days later. A year and a half later, Larson pleaded guilty. 9 days later, our cameras were there when she was released. She was given credit for time served. And recently, Larson was hit with a lawsuit from her former foster child that claims she used her DSS connections to manipulate custody of the boy. You can read more into these stories by downloading our news app. You'll find previous stories attached to this one. Just search WBTV in your app store.
New at 6 o'clock, documents uncovered in a WBTV investigation raise new questions about the arrest of a Union County mother earlier this year.
Christy Brooks was arrested in mid-January, charged with felony child abduction after hiding with her daughter for more than a year. That felony charge was ultimately dismissed. Well, now investigative reporter Nick Oxner has learned some experts warned she never should have been charged in the first place. Nick?
Yeah, Molly, Paul, the Union County District Attorney sought help from experts at the UNC School of Government before Thanksgiving last year. Specifically, the DA wanted to know if what Christy Brooks had done by going into hiding with her young daughter constituted felony child abduction. The experts said no, but months later, the Union County Sheriff's Office charged her with child abduction anyways.
Why did you run?
Because I've taken every legal avenue to protect my daughter, and nobody will help.
Christy Brooks said she knew what she was doing when we spoke with her in January. At the time, she was hiding from the Union County Sheriff's Office after a judge issued a civil contempt order for her arrest.
Some people would say you should have just brought your child back and you wouldn't be under arrest if you just complied with the court's order. What do you say to that?
Well, if I'm going to protect my child at all costs, and I'm the only person that is going to protect her, so I had no other choice.
But what Brooks didn't expect was to be charged with a felony. But that's exactly what happened days after our interview aired. Court records show detectives from the sheriff's office went to the magistrate and got a warrant charging Brooks with felony child abduction. New documents uncovered by WBTV show the sheriff's office took out the warrant months after an expert at the UNC School of Government told Union County District Attorney Trey Robison the facts of Brooks' case didn't merit the charge.
For it to appear that that advice wasn't followed, that's a bit strange.
Tim Emery is a Charlotte criminal defense lawyer.
If I'm representing Ms. Brooks, I'm saying this is a vindictive effort. They are upset that she has gone into hiding. They are upset that they can't find her. They're upset that she's given an interview with someone in the media. That particularly is embarrassing, and so it's gotten personal.
The DA never brought the child abduction charge to the grand jury. Brooks was indicted instead on felony obstruction of justice, which experts at the School of Government said might fit better, but wasn't really necessary.
It sends a message to the community of breeding distrust. If people are pursuing charges that they know or have reason to believe don't have merit, that impugns the integrity of the whole criminal justice system.
Now, multiple sources telling me there was a disagreement between the DA's office and the sheriff's office over whether or not to charge Brooks with that child abduction charge. I made multiple attempts today to talk with someone at the sheriff's office about the new information we uncovered. Specifically, I wanted to ask why they brought that child abduction charge, even after the experts said it probably wouldn't hold up in court. No one from the sheriff's office returned our multiple requests for comment. Now reporting live in Union County, Nick Oxner, WBTV. On your side.
You've really stuck with this story, Nick. Thank you. The felony obstruction of justice charge against Brooks is still pending. You can read more of our exclusive coverage on this story on our website, WBTV.com.
Shocking new allegations tonight in a case that has stunned our community for years.
It started when a sheriff's deputy found a boy chained to a porch with a dead chicken around his neck. That led to Union County social service worker Wanda Sue Larson and her boyfriend Dorian Harper being convicted of child abuse. But tonight, a WBTV investigation is shining the light on new allegations that you have not heard yet. A warning, some of it is too graphic for television. Our investigative reporter Nick Oxner joins us with details.
Yeah, Paul, Maureen, when sheriff's deputies rescued the boy we'll call Michael, chained to the porch that night in November 2013, they took him and 4 other children out of Larson's home. You've heard about the physical abuse they endured, but tonight we'll tell you about the sexual abuse the children also say went on. That one DSS worker called sadistic and horrific.
Dorian used to do sexual stuff to me.
You're listening to words no child should ever have to say. This is a boy we'll call Michael. He's talking about sexual abuse he says he endured while living with Union County DSS supervisor Wanda Sue Larson and her boyfriend Dorian Harper.
She abused me too, and she knew that Dorian was abusing me too, but she didn't stop it. She just add on to it.
That's all Michael wanted to say about what happened to him in an interview with WBTV 2 years ago. Until now, his allegations have never been made public. Neither Larson nor Harper have ever faced charges related to the sexual abuse.
No, nothing. I haven't seen nothing. No charges brought up against them. Nothing.
This is Michael's mother, who still has a hard time talking about what her son says happened.
When your son told you what happened to him, what did he say?
I know he's been touched, and they made him touch him, and the kids touch each other. He has just told me, you know, Dorian touched him and made him touch him.
The allegations aren't just being made by Michael. Documents obtained by WBTV show multiple children taken from Larson's home disclosed allegations of sexual abuse. The allegations have been reviewed by the Union County Sheriff's Office and the District Attorney.
Are these serious allegations to you?
If they're true, they're very serious. Yes.
Even though Michael and the other kids have made disclosures to therapists and counselors, DA Trey Robinson says investigators haven't brought him enough evidence to make a case against Larson and Harper.
We are entirely driven by whatever the evidence is that's produced during an investigation.
Do you think there's ever going to be a possibility that you could bring charges for sexual assault allegations in this case?
Certainly there's a possibility. Again, it would be premature and probably inappropriate for me to speculate as to whether that actually ever comes to fruition. But I can tell you that if we are presented with specific, credible, and admissible evidence, that we would be motivated to pursue any charges wherever that may lead.
I get to a point where I feel like nothing's going to be done about it, and it's not fair.
A lawyer for Union County Sheriff Eddie Cathy declined to comment and wouldn't provide a police report showing when, if ever, the department actually investigated Michael's claims.
It's something that they're always going to struggle with. And meanwhile, you know, Wanda Sue's out and about free, living her life while, you know, my son's over here struggling. It's not fair.
We wanted to ask Larson about the sexual abuse allegation, so we tracked her down to this trailer off this long gravel road in rural Union County.
Hi there.
Hi.
How are you?
Good.
I'm Nick Oxner at WBTV.
Yes?
We're just wondering if you had a couple minutes to talk with us.
No, thank you.
You don't want to talk with us? Ma'am, we have some questions about what you did to your foster children.
Hopefully this helps some type of way, you know. Mr. Kathy will get off his butt, you know, and pursue charges like you would anybody else.
Now, it's been nearly 4 years since Michael and the 4 other children were taken out of Larson's home. The Discovery launched a review of Union County DSS to determine how an agency supervisor could be abusing children with no one noticing. Now, we've uncovered a new state report that finds there are still problems with the agency. These are some of the same issues that we were talking about 4 years ago when Wanda Sue Larson and Dorian Harper were arrested. It looks like in 4 years you're still having the same ongoing problems. Would you say that's the case?
No, I would say that there's always going to be areas to improve upon, right? And who doesn't need help?
Now watch WBTV News tomorrow night at 6 as we break down the new state report that finds Union County DSS failing in several key areas. And we press an agency leader for an explanation. Guys, back to you.
New at 6 o'clock, a new audit of Union County's foster care program shows the agency still has major deficiencies.
Now, this review comes to light nearly 4 years after a DSS supervisor and her boyfriend were arrested and ultimately convicted on child abuse charges stemming from how they treated their own foster children. Our investigative reporter Nick Oxner is pressing DSS leaders about the audit's new findings.
The review by the North Carolina Department of Health and Human Services found the Department of Social Services failing to meet state standards in 3 areas. At least 2 of them were at issue in the case of Wanda Sue Larson, the former DSS supervisor now convicted of abusing her foster children. Was there anything in this report from the state that surprised you?
No. Like I said, we had already started looking at our cases through a QA process.
Lisa Cowan oversees the office that administers the foster care program as part of her job at the Union County Department of Social Services. She largely brushed off a report issued by the State Department of Health and Human Services that found her agency was failing to follow state policies in 3 different areas.
It looks to me like they found a lot of problems in the cases that they sampled. Is that a fair assessment?
No, I disagree with that.
State auditors looked at a sample of cases from the foster care program and found supervisors were only reviewing 45% of cases reviewed, and that foster parents were established shared parenting plans in less than a quarter of cases.
The supervision occurred, it just was in a handwritten form, and we have an electronic system, and we had one area that was not putting the supervision notes in the electronic system. So the state didn't recognize that as receiving supervision.
The report doesn't talk about paperwork at all, but it looks like when you read this that the documentation is not being done, the paperwork's not being filled out properly when it is being filled out, which is different than just a paperwork problem.
It's not a problem, it's a way of doing things.
Cowan says she welcomes the report's findings and said the agency had already started taking steps to hire additional personnel to improve some of the problem areas.
I look at all of this as a good growth advancement for us.
It looks like your supervisors aren't supervising all of the cases they're supposed to. Looks like biological parents aren't communicating with the foster parents as much as they're supposed to. These are some of the same issues that we were talking about 4 years ago when Wanda Sue Larson and Dorian Harper were arrested. It looks like in 4 years you're still having the same ongoing problems. Would you say that's the case?
No, I would say that there's always going to be areas to improve upon, right? And who doesn't need help? There's been a lot of advancement in our processes and our oversight in the last 4 years.
Well, so I guess my question would be then, if there has been all that advancement, why are you still getting reports that look like this?
Well, that was a very small sample, and those cases were not all, those cases were when we hadn't even started quality assurance of foster care.
We've posted a full copy of the state's report on our website, WBTV.com. Guys, back to you.